Listen, I'm going to be off tomorrow, as you know, but I wanted to leave you with a story today which gives you some hope in human nature. I know I shouldn't be laughing. Um, a breaking news story, and this is a significant breaking news story, as to the fact that Toitū Te Tiriti, that's the group that put together the hikoi against the Treaty Principles Bill, is cutting its ties with Te Pāti Māori. I repeat that. Toitū Te Tiriti cutting its ties with Te Pāti Māori as reported by Te Ao Māori News just a few minutes ago. And it appears that something that it's a family dispute to a large extent. Now, if you remember rightly, Toitū Te Tiriti was pretty much run by Te Pāti Māori and had very solid connections with Te Pāti Māori, its employees and its members of parliament. And I think almost everybody appreciated the closeness of that operation. In fact, they seemed almost indivisible one from the other at the time. And it's one of the reasons why normal New Zealanders didn't take the hikoi too seriously, because it was, if you like, a burp from Te Pāti Māori. And the fact that Labour Party MPs ended up marching along with their T-shirts in the middle of that particular hikoi rather made them appear as if they were simply dupes or following along in the footsteps of Te Pāti Māori's leadership. They are very close allies. They are aligned by both personnel and policy. Well, listen to this. Spokesperson for Toitū Te Tiriti was, if you remember, Eru Kapa Kingi. Now, I've opined on his particular intellectual ability before. You've seen him on Jack Tame. He's the young chap with the full tattoo on his face, whose mother, if you remember, is a member of Te Pāti Māori. His mother is Maria Mano Kapakingi. She was the party whip until she got sacked. Remember that? He was also, as I understand it, a former Te Pāti, no one knew he was a former, but he is now a former Te Pāti Māori Vice President. And this morning he has put out a statement saying that Te Pāti Māori is guilty of bullying, of a dictatorship model of leadership, and is insisting that all decisions should be made transparently in line with its constitution and tikanga, and it's not. His essential argument, or the essential argument that Toitū Te Tiriti and Te Pāti Māori have fallen out, is that the leadership of Te Pāti Māori, which is Rari Waititi, Debbie Narewa-Paka and John Tamahiri, are running the show. And they are not, they are running a dictatorship model. And their leadership and the way that they've been running Te Pāti Māori is quote-unquote problematic. And they are not only not leading along with the principles of tikanga Māori, and this is the really interesting, I'll come to that in just a second, but they are also not running the party along the lines of their own constitution, which is a particularly British, I have to say, invention, having a constitution that governs and regulates how a party acts within itself and its relationship with the outside world. Very colonial, but isn't it fascinating they've got one? Well, there you go. No constitutions existed before the European colonizers arrived in this country, did they? No. No, they didn't have a written constitution. They didn't even have a constitution. In fact, if they talked about a constitution, I'm sure it was related to a bowel movement, but there you go. Anyhow, no, it's tikanga Māori. So obviously the leadership of Te Pāti Māori have a very different concept of tikanga Māori than Toitū Te Tiriti and its spokesperson, who is Eru Kapakingi. Very different. So here's a bit of a question for you. You know, a question for 10 for all you white liberals. All you white liberals, here we go. If Māori at this level can't agree what tikanga looks like, how on earth is there meant to be some sort of national tikanga Māori applying across our legal and judicial system? Just quietly. And if you are going to imbue te ao Māori and tikanga Māori into a whole series of institutions throughout this country, including local government, for example, and so-called partnerships, then can I ask what that definition might look like and what, in actual fact, the detail would be if two of the most outstanding spokespeople for Te Pāti, for Māori activism in this country cannot agree on what it might be? Now, I'm not going to suggest for a moment, no, that personality and factional politics within Te Pāti Māori has created this breach. Oh, dear Lord, how could I suggest that? And because somebody's mum got sacked from a position and for which she got an extra $20,000, $25,000, it has somehow led to a young man getting very upset and frustrated and deciding to pull out officially Toitū Te Tiriti from Te Pāti Māori. But let us not forget how important nepotism is, and family and whānau relationships within the power structures of tikanga Māori in particular, because that's just the way the culture's organised. And you can't blame Māori for that. That's the way they've always been organised, thanks very much. It is about close familial and whānau connections, and it's often perceived and criticised from those outside those particular connections as being something akin to nepotism. But I have to be honest with you, as Mike Moore, former Prime Minister, made the point on numerous occasions, both in private and in public, there are only two functioning democracies with the rule of law in the Southern Hemisphere, and they happen to be New Zealand and Australia. But there you are. So there you go. There is hope on the horizon that finally the emperor news clothes might be seen for what it is, and that white liberals might just today look on, and a whole series of white liberal, university-educated, wanker bloody policymakers in Wellington might just look on and go, because there is no such uniformity, any more uniformity in Māori than there is in New Zealand society. And unfortunately, has to be said, white liberals don't understand that, never have, never will. But there you are, writ large, the cleavage, the split between Toitū Te Tiriti today and Te Pāti Māori, and the claims of dictatorship, the claims of unconstitutional behaviour are very British, and also the claims that tikanga is not being observed, one side by the other, whatever that is. Those are my thoughts today. What are yours?